Because I ask myself, I don't have a problem with, I love working. I like working. So if I like to work, is my life already the epitome of what it should be? If I stop the endless pursuit of endless dopamine or all these options that we have now, all these desires that I want, if I simply stop desiring them so badly, would I stop and realize that my life is damn near perfect the way it is? So the other day, I caught myself pondering. And this is going to be a bit of just a pondering video. So if you don't like the meandering and storytelling and having a bit of patience, your dopamine can't handle a person just sitting down, taking a few breaths. Smoking a cigar and slapping flies away, this ain't the video for you. But my grandmother passed away a couple days ago. And not that I was necessarily close with my grandmother. On my dad's side of the family, I'm not super close with many people on my dad's side of the family. But it still bothered me. And I did find myself having a bit of emotions about it. And as you guys know, I try my best not to adhere to my emotions. But every once in a while, I try to do the exact opposite. And give myself time to just like really feel the emotions that I have, whatever situation's going on in my life. And I had one of those days that I was just thinking about things, pondering the reasons why we're here. Like what's the meaning of life? Like what's the point? You know? Is it kids? You know, is that the big point of life? Like, what is your purpose? You know, what is the meaning to life? The big M. You know, and I feel like a lot of people may say it's their kids. And okay, well, then to those of us who don't have kids or don't want kids, then what's that? Like, what's our meaning? What's the answer? Like, for example, I came out here, this is random, but like 2 houses over, there's some kids that got a nice little, playset thing over there. You can see them over the fence. And my first thought was like, wow, they're gonna ruin my fucking video. Then I thought, how selfish is that? For me to come outside and get upset about children having fun. And this kind of goes into the bigger concept of the video of the day. Just me kind of putting some things together. Getting back to the meaning things, and then what's the big meaning? Why do people care so much about kids? Is it because they want to provide a better version of themselves to the world, to society? So is that the point? Is the point to improve society in some way? Because then, therefore, you could get your fulfillment from other means that also improve society. Like, for example, let's say you have a business that improves people's lives, then are you getting the same source of fulfillment as if you were to have kids? Or is it that the kids are so personal, like it's your seed, it's your offspring, it's your family, that it just makes it a bit more special? I don't know. Is the purpose maybe to find love? Is that the grand scheme of things, to find someone that you truly understands you, you understand them, you guys have this nice big happy life, you guys grow old, have a family, you know, start another generation? Is that the point? Is that the meaning? is it simply just the idea of finding some way to provide to society? But then that's very much not speaking on like your own personal needs and fulfillments and wants. Or is that something you ignore for the greater good of society, for the greater good of what you have, whatever you decided your purpose to be or meaning to be? So at that point, I would say I'm leaning closest to it's to improve the world or to improve society. But then that brings me to the question of what is improvement? What is better? Like I mentioned Ty Lopez in a previous video, but he is if you don't know, he's a very rich dude, very successful dude. Look him up. He's a very interesting guy. If you guys like me, you'd probably like Ty Lopez. I'd look him up. And one thing that he did when he was younger is he spent 2 years with the Amish. And he described it as one of the happiest times of his life. And I think the less we have to worry about, the less problems we have, it makes for a better quality of life. Because he genuinely asked himself, he wonders. And granted, he's not one of those millionaires that are thinking about like, oh, I'm going to commit suicide or I'm not enjoying my life. He enjoys his life. But he does wonder if he would have had a better life or felt more fulfilled if he simply would have stayed with the Amish. Never getting the millions of dollars, never traveling the world, never doing any of these things. Simply being the guy on the farm. You know, you have your family, your wife, just you and your kids. A simple life. So, would I have the right to say that, you know, as we continue to advance society, is that this is a better way of living? Are we doing society a service by just creating more options? In a lot of ways, that's what the modern society is doing, is that there's more shit you can do. There's more places you can be. It's never been easier to go around the world. It's never been easier to see so many people. Is it normal to care about, like, all these people's lives? Another thing he says that I really like is there are about 150 people that's like you can really care about. Like outside of that, like it will be pretty hard to actually care about more than that many people, genuinely. But I guarantee you, majority of you follow more than 150 people. And some of you follow more than 150 people very actively. Most times people you never met, people you don't know. People you probably will never meet. People you will never know. So what is the meaning of life? Is it to improve things? But then what is improvement? How do we know these things are making us better? Are people happier? Is that the goal, to be happy? I mean, I can think of a lot of things that can make me happy that aren't necessarily good for anyone. Just me wasting time. So surely that can't be it, right? It can't be just be happiness, because happiness is quick and fleeting. Can't be kids or maybe improving society, because then what's improving society? Is it the kids? I feel like that's a solid answer. I don't think I could get upset with that answer. But I don't think that's the answer for everyone. So then, maybe it's God. Is it God? To live a God-fearing life. Just to understand that the abundance of options isn't necessarily the greatest life path. We have all these things you can do. I feel like we see too much shit now. I think we may need to step back and like understand that the less you have, the more you have. It's an interesting concept, but I mean, try these things. Like, maybe take a step back from social media. Stop just watching YouTube videos all day. Sit outside in silence. Enjoy sunset, sunrise, and realize that these smaller moments are beautiful. Even though it's not anything that's gonna get your dopamine elevated, or maybe it will if you aren't so fucked up in your head. Because a lot of these things, bro, I think we're really fucked. We're fucked in the head, man. Another thing I was thinking about in this meaning thing, and even speaking on the YouTube shit, is I seen like my last few videos was the most popular one of this month. It was one on NoFap, which is an easy term to get some clicks on. A lot of people look up NoFap, and if you watch the video, you'll know I don't necessarily agree with the idea of NoFap. If you want to watch that, go check it out. But the other video, someone else is piping your wife. Great copy by the way. I got that idea from Hamza. And then I have videos that are personally the videos that I like to make. The videos that make you actually think a little bit. Like, what the fuck is going on in your life? You know, really get down and consider this path you're going on. Those videos don't get views. You know? I have a few that can do a little bit better, but usually it's about some women or some bullshit. Like, those are the things that get views. And we live in a world that is, well, in America, probably in most Western countries, we live in a world where we value money. We value what is going to bring more profit. So therefore, things that are good for you or a message that is actually healthy for you is not pushed. And it makes me think, like, are these companies, the sharks of the world, like, are these bad people? Because at some point you continue to pursue monetary gains to a detriment to people around you or even to yourself. For example, a lot of these foods we eat, especially in America, they know it's not good for you, but they will keep feeding it to you. Social media. I believe social media is very beneficial for a small group of people, for a small percentage of people that really get to optimize this social media experience. For most people, I would assume it's a net negative. Makes them feel worse about themselves. But we will continue to push it because it makes money. And on top of that, it just takes away your attention, your focus. You're so worried about other people's lives, it's very hard for you to worry about your own. So a lot of this led me back to God. And because I was questioning the YouTube stuff, you know? Like, I'm happy that those videos did well, but at the same time, I'm almost discouraged that those are the videos that do well. Videos that are not really talking about much, talking about fluff, making jokes, having a good time, entertainment. But videos that actually try to tackle some bigger conversations are harder to market. But maybe that's my problem. Maybe I just need to be better at making the videos that I enjoy, the videos that I like, and making them better. Because that could 100% be on me. And maybe I'm just taking the easy path out by using topics that I know people are necessarily looking up or they want to get into. So now I'm playing this game where I'm trying to appeal to the narrative, appeal to the masses. And I don't like that. In no sense of my life do I ever enjoy trying to just be one of the many. So I don't know if I should start doing that now. A part of me thinks that, like, but you gotta play the game. You gotta play the game. You gotta play the YouTube game. You gotta play the social media game. Because right now that's one of the biggest opportunities that we have. But does that mean you act like an idiot? Because like a lot of people compromise themselves for this social media game. We can think about OnlyFans models. Compromise themselves for monetary value. People that go and just look stupid on social media, on TikTok, anything like that, just making a joke of themselves, being the clown, but it gets views. People like to see stupid shit. So is it worth it to be the clown, to get your name known? Is it important what you're known for? Like if you're an OnlyFans girl or something like that, is that important? Like, you got to the bag. Doesn't matter how you got to the bag. Don't know. And I ask all these questions. I'm pondering all these things. Like I'm telling you guys, I was driving. Told you guys I do delivery driving. I just had to turn off the music, turn off the videos I was watching. I just like drove in silence for a couple hours, just thinking about shit. And ultimately, kind of leading me back to God. I don't know. Just seems like a more of a fulfilling way to live. Because even let's say we achieve whatever our goals are. We start making some money. Live where you want to live. You're talking to the woman you want to talk to. You have kids. Then what? Like, is that it? Is that where the meaning ends? Is that where the fulfillment ends? You've done your purpose and now it's over? Or is there something you're supposed to be continuously doing for your whole life? Like, I have the idea that maybe we are supposed to work our whole lives. Like, I believe most generations before us, I don't think they had retirement plans. I don't think they had 401k set up. They just worked until they died. Sorry, my phone died. But they just worked. They worked and worked and worked until they died. They lived fulfilling lives. Were they happy? Because I see that work is demonized now. Like, everyone's goal is they want to make some passive income where they can relax. I don't know about you guys, but relaxing gets old real quick. It's very boring. I don't know how I could see myself with the end goal of just relaxing. Like there's a lot of guys that once they end their retirement, like they die because they're done working. Like a good example, my uncle, very successful dude, retired, gets the monthly pay, retired from the military. So, he's got the money coming, he's set, he's good. This nigga went and picked up another job. Because the idea of just never working again, don't think that's the answer. That shouldn't be the goal. And let's pinpoint, let's get this back into to God. Because ultimately I see that as being the most fulfilling or meaningful thing that you could do is follow God to some degree. And always tell myself that, eventually I'm gonna get to the point where I'm gonna be a very faithful man, a man of faith. And follow God to the best of my abilities. And one thing I have that bothers me with that, and this is something I've battled with for a very long time. For those of you that are real OGs, like y'all came to the videos when I used to make the videos out here, y'all will know that I battled with the religion thing because part of it is just having a analytical thought processing. Like you always want to know why. Why are these things? Like I just been talking to y'all for about 20 minutes on why. Why is this way? Why are we doing this? Like what's the point? And I look to people that I would consider to be mentors of sorts, and especially in the modern day mentors, because almost all of my mentors from the past that I would consider mentors, they all believe in God, and except for the exception of some of the modern people. And what I realize about the modern ones that don't believe in God, for example, Alex Ramosi, he genuinely wanted to believe in God. And I can agree with that. I want to believe in God. It seems like a better way to live, a better life path to take, to always know that there's someone that is ultimately looking out for you. It's a comforting feeling. I guess that maybe that's the feeling that most of you guys have in like relationships or in big families, that you just have someone that always has your back, doesn't have any sort of judgment on you, simply wants the best for you, regardless of all the wrong that you have done or how unworthy you are. There's a magic dude in the sky that loves you. Maybe the only dude that fucking loves you. Got helicopters coming over. This is why I don't film outside, guys. There's always some planes, some kids, some dogs barking. The flies. I hate the fucking flies, bro. Flies and mosquitoes, man. Ruins the whole experience. But going on to the God stuff, I came across a man, Alan Watts, and he had an interesting viewpoint on religion, because something that stops a lot of analytical people from believing in God is that they need it to be explained to them. They need to understand it. They need to believe that it's real without a shadow of a doubt. Now, if there is a magical man in the sky that has created all this that we see, why do we think that we could fathom the things that he thinks? Why do we think we could possibly understand how God works? Simply just being humans. And what Alan Watts described, and it really fucked me up for a bit. This is the reason why I had to just stop, because I was listening to Alan Watts. And he said, maybe we just take it too seriously. Maybe we take life too seriously. Ultimately, that is the answer that I came up with, is that none of it really fucking matters. You know, whatever gets you to feel some source of fulfillment, like it may be different than the next guy. You know, you may be a family man. This guy may be a businessman. This guy must be like a nomad, the hippie type. Just wants to be free in all cases, not even to be tied down by the pursuit of money. But we have all these different options and routes that we can take. But with the God thing especially is that things only become complicated when you try to explain them. An example he used was, you know, we all see how flowers grow. You know, we water them, there's some sun, and then eventually they turn into these beautiful flowers, very beautiful, God's creation. And it only gets complicated when you ask someone, how did this flower grow? You know, we've seen it grow, but why? Why did it grow? How? What about the sun makes this flower grow? And as humans and our obsession with trying to figure things out, we have answers for that. Like the fucking, I don't know those answers. Most definitely not. I'm not even trying to explain it. But if you looked it up or went to a science textbook, you could probably find out why flowers grow. But to some degree, it's also very fucking simple. Flowers need water, they need the sun, and then they grow. If you look at it that way, it's not that complicated. And maybe that's how we need to view religion or God. Is that instead of trying to figure everything out, understand exactly why he does what, why the world is like this. If God was real, then this wouldn't happen. If God was this, then the world would be a better place. Like, why would God let people suffer? No, we have all these fucking questions. As if we were smart enough to comprehend the answers. But maybe it's very fucking simple. Maybe it's not that deep. Even with the life stuff, like I had the video on the curse of ambition. If you haven't seen that, check it out. But I basically described that very ambitious people, they aren't the happiest people because they're always going after the next goal, the next thing. Then that makes me wonder, is that a good life? A good life path? Is that a good way to live? To always be wanting the next thing. We're gonna wrap this up because now people are starting to cut grass and shit. But ultimately, I just don't think there is much of a meaning. And the less seriously that you can take this life that we're living, probably the better for you. Like, and then you have the question of, okay, well, if I'm not going to take life seriously, and if it's not all that, then, you know, why do I strive for things? Why do I continue to work? Because working is what we do. Improving your life in whatever way you can, for whatever you decide is the improvement of your life, that's it, bro. Once you figure that out, you just continuously work towards that. Because I ask myself, I don't have a problem. I love working. I like working. So if I like to work, is my life already the epitome of what it should be? If I stop the endless pursuit of endless dopamine or all these options that we have now, all these desires that I want, if I simply stop desiring them so badly, would I stop and realize that my life is damn near perfect the way it is? if I add in these little, like, for example, the women stuff, like, I know I push you should probably ignore women until you get your shit together. I may be coming back on that stance a little bit. You should probably spend some time with women, because that's just part of life. That's just part of the way the world operates. Literally half the people on this earth are women, so you probably should associate with them in some capacity. And I'm not saying all you do is associate with women, because you still have your baseline, your base purpose of fucking working on something. That's what keeps things going. That's what keeps you alive. But to start thinking too deeply about these things, to really get in shambles about what's the right direction to go. I heard a Kanye West quote that was saying, like, what was the most anxiety that you ever had, for the most part, when we were all younger? It's back when we constantly had to take tests. And why is that? Because we constantly had to figure out the right answer. Now, if you're going through life constantly trying to figure out what is the right answer, what is the right move, what is the right thing to do, what is the right religion to follow, you're signing yourself up for a constant state of anxiety. So maybe it's like the Joker, like, why so fucking serious? Is it that serious, man? Enjoy your life. Do what you gotta do. Put in the work. And just live the best life that you can possibly live, bro, to whatever that is for you. But to try to have all this meaning and decide what's right and wrong, maybe that's not for us to decide. If you guys have made it this far, y'all are genuine OGs, because I just sat here and just fucking ranted for a bit, enjoyed this cigar, and I don't know if anyone's gonna actually fucking make it this far. But these are the sort of videos I like to make, and I hope y'all enjoyed it. Doses.